Welcome back to Jersey Matters. We talk to newly elected Senator in Monmouth County, Vin Gopal. Let's go issue to issue in the state. And even when we talk about any of these issues, when we talk about pensions, when we talk about schools, when we talk about transportation, it's all going to take money.
Sure.
So new money has to come into the state somewhere. So let's go through where the new money could come from. I would imagine you are going to be paying close attention to the arguments in front of the Supreme Court about gambling in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Could that potentially be a boom for the area?
Absolutely. Listen, we need revenue in the state, and sports betting, it's been bipartisan support in New Jersey to get it. Any revenue is going to be good revenue, and if we can get $1 billion or if we can get $500 million, it helps our state.
Well, it's fascinating you brought marijuana. That's what I was going to bring up next. And it's fascinating that you tied it to money. Is that the reason to do it?
No. It's a criminal justice issue. I support the legalization of marijuana, and I think that's going to be a very close vote, and there are strong feelings on both sides. But when we're locking up, millions of people in this country for nonviolent crimes and the amount of money we're spending in our criminal justice systems, I think that marijuana should be legalized and it should be regulated properly. We've had states now like California and Colorado which have done this, and they've had some good things happen there and some bad things. And I think we need to take our time. We need to study what those good things are, what are the negatives that have happened, and really take our time in doing this. But I've spent a lot of time researching and studying this issue on legalization, and we've seen the effects of alcoholism and nicotine and all these other things that have had effects on people. And the research on marijuana shows that it's not going to lead to harder drugs.
And it's going to bring in a lot of money for the state. Even though that's not what you're saying, it's not your primary goal, but it will.
Absolutely, you got to look at all the positives, and that is absolutely one of the positives. But for me personally, it's a criminal justice issue. I want to focus on murderers, rapists, people that are committing violent crimes, not going after people that have a little bit of weed.
So there's potentially hundreds of millions coming in for legalized sports betting, depending on what the Supreme Court does. Potentially hundreds of millions coming in for legalized marijuana. Then the millionaire's tax, which Phil Murphy ran on. Are you going to vote yes on that?
I want to see exactly what the number is, and I want to see if it's going to be tied into spending cuts, which is important. There was a millionaire's tax that Chris Christie basically allowed to lapse in 2009. So this wouldn't be a new tax. It's just undoing what Christie did in 2009. It was under the Corzine administration. But the question is it $1 million? Is it $750,000? Is it just salary? Is it investments? With what's happening at the federal level now, we have to watch very carefully with the GOP tax plan, how that's going to affect taxpayers in New Jersey. People are leaving the state each and every day, and I don't intend to support any legislation that looks towards making more people leave the state. So I want to see the details. But if this is a tax that's $250,000 and over, $500,000 and over, and there are no spending cuts attached to it, I'm not voting for it.
Well, that's interesting, because now I think I know how you're going to answer the next question, because the concern among people is it's not just going to be a millionaire's tax, that once Democrats take over in the legislature and they're also in the governor's mansion, that the sales tax is going to go back up to where it was, and that the phasing out of the estate tax is not going to happen. The taxes are going to go out across the board and not just affect millionaires.
Yeah, and I'm going to fight that tooth and nail, and I think you'll see other Democrats like Steve Sweeney fight that. And I think every indication that Governor-elect Murphy has given is that he does not intend to to roll back that estate tax or increase the sales tax. But if by any chance anyone in the legislature, because I'm sure they may bring it up in the next couple of years, there are a group of Democrats that are going to be battling it. There are people that are focused on trying to cut spending in the state, and that's what we need to do. We need to look towards that. And for every Democrat that's increased someone's taxes, I can point to a Republican that's increased someone's taxes. And I think that's the problem we have in New Jersey. And I always say there's no difference between the last number of governors. Republican, Democrat, everyone's taxes have gone up. And that's what we need to start looking towards.
Everyone's looking at Phil Murphy's first 100 days. It's interesting because it'll be your first 100 days, too. What do you expect in that period? What can be done?
I think he's going to be rolling out. His campaign has been on economic development, looking at the ratables in the state, looking at who we can bring in. I think we got to look at all of it. How are we going to get more companies in here with all the opportunities we have with research in New Brunswick and now the land at Fort Monmouth. We have so many opportunities here to really bring companies in, and I think we got to do everything we can to get them in.
And if Amazon were to come here, as I said, the conversation always turns once you bring up Amazon. If Amazon were to come in, Fort Monmouth?
We'd love to see it, absolutely. Fort Monmouth would be great. Homedale, where the old Bell Labs would be great. There are a lot of wonderful places that we can have it, but really we need to get these companies in here. We need to show them how wonderful not just Monmouth and Ocean County is, but Hoboken, Jersey City. There's so many wonderful places in this state, and unfortunately we have a bad reputation because of governors in both parties of having the highest taxes in the country, and we need to start changing that mindset. We need to stop being the joke. For how many years has Chris Christie and New Jersey Jokes been on late night TV? We need to start having people say, when you think of New Jersey, you're thinking of positivity, you're thinking of economic growth, you're thinking of a state where there's infinite opportunities and possibilities, and that's what I want to represent in the state Senate.
Senator-elect?
Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck to you. Vin Gopal, the newly elected senator in Monmouth County. When Jersey Matters continues, a brand new state-of-the-art planetarium just opened in the state. Kimberly Kravitz takes you there next.